Well, they don't work upside down. It needs to be this way. They don't work if they're upside down.
Mummy.
Yeah.
It's in the ash.
No, isn't it ash? Okay, babe. I'll put ash on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mummy, it's in the ash. It's in the ash, Mummy. It's in the ash.
You want to sit?
Ash.
You're going to sit.
Ash.
I sit. Everything is I do it. Where's Nova? Come see Nova. Ready? Steady? Do you want to stand? Woo! Who is it? Who's that?
That's Coca-Cola.
That's not Gogo Kulu. That's Nova's Nana and Granddad are called Gogo and Kulu. My sister lives in Zimbabwe and she had the first child, and Gogo and Kulu is a Zimbabwean thing, so we thought we'd all do the same so that they all know who their same grandparents are. So they're Gogo and Kulu. But that's not Gogo and Kulu. Who's there? Who can you see? No. Who can you see? Whose face is that? Who's that? It's Nova. Who's on your cup?
Woody Buzz.
Woody and Buzz.
Mummy, I found.
Who did you find? Who's that?
That's Woody.
That's Woody. And what does Woody say? There's a snake in my boot. Who's that?
It's Buzz.
And what does Buzz say? To infinity.
Beyond. Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah.
Last week, you had your birthday. How old are you? Dip your nose. How old are you now? How old are you?
2.
2. Not 4. Not 4. You are 2. And where did we go? Where did we go for your birthday?
Cake.
You had cake? Do you love cake? Where did we go? Do you remember? We went to see some fish. Where did we see the fish for your birthday?
So.
We saw sharks. We did. At the Sea Life Centre.
Yeah.
We did.
I see rabbits.
Rabbits?
Yes.
Don't think we saw rabbits. We saw seahorses and rays and jellyfish, squid. So, who's your brother? What's your brother called?
That.
Jet. And how old is Jet?
2.
So she turned 2, coming up to 2 weeks ago now, and basically the day after she turned 2, we hit tantrum stage, and it was insane. Like, in all seriousness, I thought I was going to lose my mind. It was so full on. She's always been all or nothing. She's always been happy and very sweet or screaming. When she was a newborn, her cry was just like 0 to 100 straight away. So I guess I kind of should have seen it coming, but I just didn't. It was just insane. Her tantrums would just start like that and she'd hit the roof straight away. And I feel like, I don't know if I'm just remembering him with rose tinted glasses, but I feel like he did have tantrums. I just feel like they were quite different. I think he was quite, obviously went through the whole stage when he was pushing other children, was a bit violent, but I think that's the thing. I think his tantrums were often quite physical and not as emotionally based. I don't know, whereas I feel like hers are really emotional. You can tell her head is just gone and she's just sobbing and screaming and just completely distraught and haven't really known how to deal with it, like whether to put her in her bed so she's safe and can just cry out, or hold her or talk to her, or yeah, it's just been very hard to kind of work out a method. But then weirdly, this last week, she's been amazing. So it was like a week of hell, and then a week of her being really back to normal. I'm sure her whole tantrum stage won't have just lasted a week, but it is a bit odd because it did last a week and then is now been back to normal for a bit, but I'm sure it'll just kind of come and go. But I don't know if she went through this kind of sudden developmental surge or something, I don't know. But she's great, she's so chatty, just chats and chats and chats. She's just reading herself a Toy Story book.
I want this one.
Who can you see?
Tato Head.
Tato Head. Mr. Prickle Pants.
This one.
Who's that?
Jessie.
Yeah.
And this one.
Who is it?
Buzz.
I love the way she chats. And it's really nice seeing her already go through stages. Like she used to say for coin, she used to say poin. So she used to say chocolate poin. And it was just the sweetest thing. And then the other day, I gave her one and she said coin. Or she used to say honos for Thomas. And then Henry the other day called it honos as well and said, oh Nova, do you want to read honos? And she was like, no daddy, Thomas, not honos. And corrected him. She's just listening to me. But yeah, she's very chatty. She's still in reusable nappies and tells us when she's done a poo or a wee. Well, no, tells us when she's going to do one. And I always ask if she wants to go on a potty, but she doesn't. She says no, and doesn't want to. And she just goes to her little corner. I think that's one good thing about reusables is that they're less comfy to be in once they're wet. So then she wants to change it quite often. So I'm hoping that's going to help encourage her to potty train maybe. But we'll see. She's not really showing any interest at the moment. She just adores playing with Jet. Their favourite things to play are hide and seek and chase. She basically just wants to play anything that he wants to play. And her favourite toys, she's got a buggy for her birthday, or like a really nice wicker stroller, and her baby. And then she's got her baby's got a bed and a bath and a potty and a plate that she gives her dinner. And she's really into like imaginative role play games, I think a lot earlier than Jet was. So she will chat to the baby, or she loves her phone, she'll chat on the phone and she'll chat to the baby and say, dinner time baby, food, come and eat. And we'll really kind of create this little scene. But then she also loves a lot of Jet's toys that he's collected. She loves playing with his Lego and his trains. That's Buzz. He gets into these little things and then she gets into it as well, just purely by default. So he's just really into colouring in a piece of A4 paper and then rolling it up and using it as a telescope. And so now she's obsessed with turning everything into a telescope as well. It's quite sweet because, you know, it's one of those things where she wouldn't have been interested in it if she wasn't watching him do it all the time. So there's a lot of interest she has, I think, just because of having an older sibling and wanting to kind of keep up and copy him. But definitely that imaginative playing on her own has really just come from herself, and she loves doing that and loves colouring. And they both colour and then make their telescopes. I can't remember what the last update was. She's not in any nursery or childcare yet. I'm still kind of working around her, so I work in her nap times, or me and Henry as well do share time as well because he works himself, so then we'll like split days sometimes, and then my sister has her one day. But I do feel like she's getting to the age where she might be ready to go to some sort of nursery or something, just so she can be interacting even more with other children. And I feel like she's that age where she's really ready for like really messy play and things like that, which I'm just rubbish at doing in our flat. It's all I do it, Nova do it, Nova do it. So she wants to do her own shoes, she wants to read her stories to herself, which is quite nice for me. Sometimes she doesn't even want me to read them, she just wants to sit on the sofa and read them herself. She wants to get dressed, she wants to do everything. And obviously it's that age where they can't actually necessarily do those things, but it's very sweet watching her try, so we just have to kind of allow extra time to get anywhere. Or like her coat, she wanted to do her coat for ages, and now she's finally grasped the trick, you know, and they put the coat upside down on the floor and swing it over their head. So she does that now, which is good, so she can actually do her coat. I know they're all their own children, and I'm not like comparing negatively, but it's just really interesting having two children to compare. So she is definitely not as physically keen as he was, so he'd throw himself down a slide, climb stairs, go on his scooter at this age. And she is not a fan at all of her scooter. She'll really scream and shout if you try and encourage her to go on it. and climbing stairs, she always wants to hold your hand. The other day at the park, I was trying to really encourage her, so I'd go like a step ahead and be like, you need to climb this step, then I'll hold your hand, trying to get her to go up, whereas Jet wouldn't have wanted me to hold his hand at all. Yeah, and the slide and things like that, she's getting there. So like slide, she's great, she just goes down on her own now, but it definitely took a lot more persuading than it did for Jet. But then her vocabulary is so advanced to what his was. So it's just so interesting, like, you know they'll both get there, you know they'll both get to the same stage, and they all even out once they're in school. But it's interesting just seeing the way they both develop in these, with like different things leading. I don't really know what else to say. I'll just show bits of her now, because that's what I want to have to look back on, because like the coin thing, like it's already changing and I hate that I've missed bits. But yeah, thank you for watching. Lots of love.
Would you pause?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
This one goes here, Mommy.
No.
This one, Mommy. This one up a stone.
Yeah, you did it, Nova.
Where's another thing? Another thing. Who's that? Woody? Woody, Mommy?
Where's Woody?
Yeah, Mommy. Cheeky, Mommy.
Cheeky Mummy.
Yeah.
You did it.
Good job, Nova.
Yay! She did it! She did it! You did the whole thing.
Forky.
You want to do forky?
Yay!
Did you do it all by yourself?
Yeah, you're the boss and the boss and Woody boss.
Buzz and Woody.
Yeah, you're not the boss. Hold this one.
You want to hold the camera? Can you hold it very carefully?
Yeah. Hold it carefully, Mummy.
Well done. What can you say?
Thank you, Mother.
What's your name?
Nova.
And how old are you?
2. Yeah. Play pink.
I love you to the moon.
Play back then.
Round and round and back again.
Bye.